Mineral-rich African countries are looking for partnerships that are beneficial, mutually beneficial.
They want a fair deal. They want to partner with corporations that are able to pay taxes and are policed to pay taxes, because there's a practice of tax avoidance. I mean, there's a number of roles that the Nordic countries can play. Finland and Sweden are EU member countries, so which means that they could push for much more global transparency around taxation to avoid this kind of tax loopholes.
I think the Nordics are playing a key role because of their technological innovations, especially with mining equipment, i.e. Epiroc, Sandvik. They are very active in the mining sector, and they are leading technologies in terms of sustainable mining practices and also environmentally sensible mining practices. So I think the Nordic, especially Swedish mining companies and others, are already invested in sort of embracing the new technologies that are sort of on the forefront of decarbonizing the mining value chain. African countries can take advantage of those technologies and adopt them and use them across their different mining sectors.
There's a convergence between African countries wanting to develop an industrial sector around renewable energy and Nordic countries seeing themselves as green tech innovators to cooperate. And this requires, I would argue, within a broader context, much more knowledge sharing and research and development cooperation. Within the EU context, the Nordic countries are, I would argue, to say some of the few countries that have a mining sector, mining industry. They already supply quite a large amount of mining equipment to mining multinationals in Southern Africa. But they themselves don't invest much within the mining sector in Southern Africa. And one would argue because of concerns around governance, the governance and regulatory context. But here, there is also an opportunity to partner with some of the state corporates within these countries in new exploration and in mining development to effectively invest for the long run. One has to look at it this way. African countries are very fastly urbanizing, right? And many countries do not have electricity. And they want to catalyze their own industrialization agenda to be able to provide renewable energy resources, even as global north countries want to also kind of reduce their carbon emissions by shifting towards electric vehicles and cars, but also to fuel other industries. And so a partnership would actually have to look at the aspirations of the mineral resource-rich countries and find what one would describe as a kind of win-win situation. So some African countries, if I think about the DRC and Zambia, for example, they would like to increase the national stake since privatization. Most of the national stake within the mining sector through these state corporates has shrunk. It's diminished. So you have largely privatized mining landscapes. They would want to see partners, be it global corporations, that are willing to partner with their state enterprises to secure supply.
I think, to be fair, trade is not about doing each other favors. I'm very practical. I think the Africans themselves must put in place the infrastructure needed for them to benefit from mineral exports if they want to export minerals. I think the EU wants to secure minerals for their own industrialization. They are in competition with the Chinese, they are in competition with the Americans. So everyone wants minerals to benefit their own industries. So Africans must put the right kind of policy infrastructure. If they want the minerals to be beneficiated within the continent, if they are working with the EU, they should come up with some kind of policy arrangements that allows for what I have called before mutually beneficial mining processes.